The world is becoming more digitally reliant and interconnected than ever before, and so is our vulnerability to cyber attacks. Technologies that influence how we communicate, work, and learn are providing opportunities while also triggering significant risks across the cyber landscape. Shola Adekoye, founder of Open Innovation Access, speaks on the global cybersecurity landscape and how the world is responding to cyber threats. What's the cybersecurity landscape looking like this year?
Well, it's much better than previous times. There's a lot more awareness now, both locally in Nigeria and Africa, and also internationally this year versus last year or previous times. More major TV stations are discussing cybersecurity on their stations, on their channels. And then also internationally, they're making cybersecurity a topic at international conferences like Davos and GITEX that's coming up in Morocco. The world is also advancing, the use of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning in fighting cybercrime, so cyber attacks. But unfortunately, with all of this infrastructure and all of these mitigation tools and methods, it is still inadequate. It's still inadequate because cyber criminals have also gone sophisticated and have also advanced their attacks, their methods for attacks as well. So we've also seen that cyber criminals are recruiting talents faster than cyber security experts or companies. That's because, the level of poverty in some countries is contributing to this. And then also the issues that young professionals are facing is also contributing to this migration to cybercrime industry versus cyber security industry. So with all of this, I would say that in 2023, it's a lot better. It's more promising. Many countries are doing revisions to their national policies, cybersecurity policies, as well as we saw in Nigeria as well. There's more talks about it, so it's a lot better, I would say overall. But there's still a lot to do.
Well, according to Cybersecurity Ventures 2022 Cybercrime report, the cost of cybercrime is predicted to hit $8 trillion this year, and that will continue to grow to $10.5 trillion by 2025. These numbers are quite staggering. How is the world responding to this?
Well, the world is raising more awareness. I mean, that's one big thing, because awareness would go a long way in helping to fight cyber crime. There's a whole lot that organizations, governments are already doing in many countries. Some governments in many countries are still not doing as much, but a country is only as strong as its weakest link, like people would say. So it still lies on the individual using technology, getting on the internet to still be aware enough to be able to protect and take precautionary steps when cyber threats come through to them. It's still going to be staggering, unfortunately. In Africa, in Nigeria, what we've seen also, it's going to continue to increase as well. Not to be the bearer of bad news, but the increase in mobile technology is also going to come with an increased cyber threat. Because cyber criminals have also devised means that they've also realized that many people in Africa or Nigeria are unaware. And so then most of the digital experience and usage is done on their mobile phones. So as a result, they launch attacks through mobile phones via SMS and all these different other means. So on the average, as more and more users or more and more people in Africa or Nigeria increase their mobile technology use, we're also going to see increased mobile cybersecurity threats.
So clearly the threat is real and still growing, but how can we lower barriers to entry into cybercrime?
That is a big I would say it's at a much higher level. It has to start at a much higher level. many economies, if you notice, many economies that are less economically empowering have more people migrating to cyber criminal industry because they see it as a necessity, as a way to just get out of poverty and get out of the degrading life standard of living that they're forced to be in. So many people see it as an option. They see it as a necessity to just get into cyber crime and just start launching attacks. So to really lower the barrier to that, government have to do a whole lot more, empowering young people, enacting policies that would also encourage startups. We saw in Nigeria alone in 2021 and 2022, Nigerian startups brought in, they secured about 1% of Nigeria's GDP in investments. I mean, that's significant. If with the level of support from government, which is not adequate, but imagine more support from government, enacting laws, more funding available. That would also encourage people to more younger people to get involved in being innovative and devising solutions and means for fighting cyber crimes and also just improving standard of living altogether. So it would have to start from there. And then also at the individual level, more awareness is going to be needed. I think institutions also have to do a whole lot more. Only about 1% of cyber attacks are reported. So experts can only fight what they know. What they don't know how to fight. So as more and more attacks are successful, it also would encourage more and more people to get involved because the barrier is really low. You are more likely to succeed launching attacks because it's easy to just get through and penetrate companies and penetrate individuals and get away. I think also the government will also have to maybe enact laws to deal with cyber criminals. There have to be, people have to be brought to justice. If there's no consequence for getting involved, people are going to get involved because they're going to get away with it too. So what's the risk or what's the consequence for doing bad things? If there's no consequence, then people are going to get involved as well and do it.
But is there a plus side to the cyber threat landscape, like an explosion or an increase in job opportunities?
Yeah, there are jobs out there. Just as of 2023 alone, about 700,000 jobs are available. There's just not enough talent to fill these jobs. And then some countries like in Africa are just now getting the wind of cybersecurity and getting more aware about it too. So there's not enough talent yet developed to fill those jobs, but there are jobs available. As a matter of fact, Korn Ferry, which is a reputable consulting company, has predicted that if countries continue to go at this rate, where more emphasis is placed on AI and robotics, by 2030 there will be about 8.5 trillion worth of jobs available that will not be filled. So you can imagine how many open positions there would have to be that would be worth about $8.5 trillion across the world unfilled, and what that would mean to fighting cyber crime. So that there's going to be a huge shortage as well if more emphasis is not placed on cybersecurity. So I think jobs are available. We just need to place more emphasis on cybersecurity, make people more aware. I guess maybe also companies also need to, compensate people better. So that way people see it as a viable career option, as opposed to all these other areas that are more high paying.
Going forward, what can leaders do to secure their organizations?
Leaders need to prioritize it. They need to take more proactive steps as opposed to just waiting for things to happen before you report it. And when things do happen, you need to report it on time, because cybersecurity experts know how to fight what they know about. cyber criminals are coming up with new methods, new ways all the time. And with advancing technology, there's also going to be new ways of, of launching attacks with people. So companies need to be more proactive. They need to report this attacks when they're successful, so that criminal security experts can devise means to continue to fight this. They need to continue to do more to advance talent, develop talent. Sponsor people to go to school, sponsor people to take jobs in those areas. Offer on-the-job trainings to continue to train people as they come in, as a way to encourage them, and then maybe compensate people more. That would encourage people to take cybersecurity jobs versus AI jobs versus robotics. But if cybersecurity is not prioritized, all these other career options will continue to be more enticing and more attractive to talents, because they're better paying.
Well, that was such an interesting conversation with you, Shola. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Trends.
Well, thanks for having me.